Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about a tool that you might think is a bit old school, but is actually a secret weapon in the professional world, the formal business letter. Seriously, whether you're asking for something, making a complaint, or trying to close a big deal, knowing how to write a great letter is basically a superpower. Okay, so let's just get the big question out of the way right now. In a world full of DMs, texts, and super fast emails, why on earth should you care about a formal letter? Well, here's the thing. When the stakes are really high, a letter gives you something that a quick digital message just can't. It brings a level of formality, seriousness, and, crucially, a permanent record. So, here's our game plan for this explainer. We'll kick things off with why letters are still so important. Then we'll cover the 4 absolute must-know principles of great writing. After that, we'll dissect a letter piece by piece, explore the 2 main strategies for structuring your message, and then finally, put it all together. Sound good? Let's dive in. All right, section 1. So why do these things still pack such a punch? It's because business letters are your go-to tool for any kind of high-stakes talk with people outside your company. We're talking about crucial stakeholders, your customers, government agencies, even your bankers. These are the conversations where every single word counts, and you absolutely need that formal touch. So when you boil it all down, a letter does 3 things exceptionally well. First, it creates an official, tangible record. Second, its very structure sends a message of seriousness that an email just can't replicate. And third, it's a fantastic tool for building good relationships, even when you're dealing with something tricky, like a complaint about a shipping mistake. Now, every single effective business letter, and I mean every one, is built on a solid foundation of 4 core principles. You can think of these as the laws of physics for professional communication. If you get these right, your message is pretty much guaranteed to land the way you want it to. And here they are, the famous 4 C's. First up, consideration and courtesy, which is all about keeping that goodwill. Next is clarity and precision, so there's 0 chance of being misunderstood. Third, conciseness and directness, because you have to respect your reader's time. And last but not least, a compelling appearance, which makes sure your letter looks just as professional as it sounds. Okay, this slide is a perfect example of that first C, consideration. It's all about what we call the you attitude. See the difference? Instead of focusing on what we are doing, you flip the script and frame it from the reader's point of view. It's not we will be open, it's you can get service anytime. It's a subtle change, but it makes the reader feel seen and respected, which is absolutely critical, especially when you have to deliver some bad news. All right, we've got the principles down. Now let's get our hands dirty and actually build one of these things. A professional letter has a standard structure, and just knowing the different parts is the first step toward creating that compelling appearance we were talking about. Let's start right at the top. You've got your heading with your info and the date. Then you have the to address for the recipient. And of course, the salutation, like Dear Mr. Kumar, which immediately sets a formal and respectful tone. Next up is the real meat of your letter. The core message. It kicks off with a clear subject line, which is kind of like a headline for your letter. That's followed by the body, where you lay out all your points. And finally, you wrap it all up with a professional closing, like yours sincerely, your signature, and if you've included other documents, a little note about enclosures. It's a simple blueprint, but it creates a really powerful professional package. Okay, now this is where things get really interesting. Because writing a good letter isn't just about following rules. It's about strategy. The way you structure the body of your letter shouldn't be random. It has to be a deliberate choice, and it all depends on the kind of news you're delivering. And this table lays out the 2 main moves you can make. For good news or just a routine message, you use the direct plan. You get straight to the point, main idea first. It's fast, it's efficient, it respects their time. But for bad news or when you're trying to be persuasive, you switch to the indirect plan. You start with the reasons first and then deliver the main idea. It's all about psychology and tact. And if you remember one thing from this section, make it this quote. It sums it all up perfectly. The direct plan saves time. The indirect plan saves the relationship. You're choosing between pure efficiency and preserving goodwill. That's the strategic choice you have to make. Okay, time to bring it all home. In this final section, we're going to see how these 2 strategic plans, the direct and the indirect, map onto the main types of business letters you'll actually find yourself writing. So have a look at this. It might surprise you, but the vast majority of business letters, a whopping 60%, are just routine. You know, your everyday requests, claims, and quick goodwill notes. Persuasive and bad newsletters are less frequent, but man, they usually carry much, much higher stakes. So the rule of thumb here is super simple. For all that routine stuff, go direct. Just get straight to the point. But the moment you have to deliver bad news or you need to persuade someone to see things your way, you always, always use the indirect plan to gently warm the reader up first.
Now, for those persuasive letters, there's this classic, almost foolproof formula called IDA. First, you grab their attention with a hook. Then you build their interest by showing them what's in it for them. After that, you create desire by handling any doubts they might have. And only then, at the very end, do you ask for action. It's a psychological journey you take them on.
And when you're writing a bad newsletter, your best friend is something called the buffer. Think of it like this. You wouldn't just walk into a room and drop a bombshell, right? The buffer is a neutral or maybe even positive opening statement. Its job isn't to trick the reader, but to ease them into the conversation before you deliver the bad news. It softens the blow and helps keep the relationship intact. So that brings us right back to our big question from the start. After all this, is a business letter just some dusty old format with a bunch of rules? Or is it something more? I think it's pretty clear it's a powerful, strategic tool. It's a way to shape how people see you, to manage tough situations, and ultimately to get things done. The only question left is, what will you build with it?